Welcome to episode 6 of ShootNLoot and Outriders podcast. I am your host, Outrider Kevin. To my physical front is Rob the Man.
Hi.
If this is your first time, welcome as we delve deep into the news and everything that's ravaging planet Enoch. You can find us here on YouTube.com and follow us on our various social media channels, but we'll talk about that later. Let's dig into some of the news. First of all, Rob, how have you been? How has Planet Enoch been treating you?
It's been okay. I've been off of it for a couple of days, about 5 days, but I'm back now.
Okay.
I'm back now, so we're good.
I'll be honest with you, I kind of took like a little mini vacation from Outriders.
Break, yeah.
I remember telling you off the air that I bought Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
And I wanted to play that on the Series X because, better load times and things like that.
Yeah.
And that has been a good kind of like palate cleanser. Because it's slow, it's methodical, and you're just doing like random bullshit in the game.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like so pissed that I couldn't finish that expedition and I died on the third room in my last try and things like that. I just had to give myself a break because otherwise I was just gonna be hating myself every time I played Outriders.
I took a nice break. I did play once this week with my brother. We got him up. We got his world tier up to 14. Because he still hasn't been he hasn't worked on it, so we went.
That's cool. At least you got him to 14 now.
Yeah. So we got him from like 12 and a half to 14.
Okay.
And then we did some more on 14. So, excuse me. So he's like, he's catching up. Yeah. The idea is to have him at the CT level and the world tier level that we're at as soon as possible.
No, yeah, definitely. But either way, we're going to go ahead and talk about some of those expeditions and things where we've been, at least where our CT levels are at since the last time we played. But let's go ahead and go over some of the news. I just wanted to go ahead and read some of the news that they uploaded over the last couple days. The first bit of news is the one that they had uploaded on May 13th. This upcoming patch is intended to primarily address the damage mitigation bug and will also contain changes to Broodmother's damage behavior, which can currently cause the instant kill issue that some players have observed with this enemy in particular. We have also been continuing investigating and addressing sign-in issues with the certain players that may have we have been continuing investigating and addressing sign-in issues that certain users may have encountered. We've made back-end changes within the last hour to help some of these users, but are aware that this may not solve the issue for everyone just yet. This upcoming patch will include further monitoring to help us further pinpoint and understand the causes of any related outstanding problems. And again, that was the update on May 13th. Later on, a couple of days, about 5 days later, on May 18th, they released another statement. Our latest patch, designed primarily to address the damage mitigation issue, is currently running through some final testing. We'll hope to release it this Thursday, May 20th, but that will only be confirmed once it is successful. That will be only confirmed once it successfully passes through testing. The patch will additionally include crash fixes as well as added telemetry to help us diagnose currently outstanding sign-in issues that might remain after this patch release. We are also still working on player appreciation package. If you're interested to find out more, blah blah blah, click on this link. Again, you can find these notes on the Outrider subreddit. And again, that was some of the news that had been happening over May 13th, 18th, those 2 weeks. That was after our last episode. So again, people have been still having issues with damage mitigation, instant kills. How do you feel about the damage mitigation? Do you feel like it's been affecting you? Because I'll be honest, I've been playing expeditions by myself and also with you. We managed to get to CT8 together.
I think 9 now.
Well, we unlocked 9, but we didn't finish 9. But we unlocked 9 and we did up to CT8 together. Yeah. I ended up finishing 9 and I unlocked CT10.
Oh, okay.
But I'm still having a hard time, getting that damage in. I'm still, developing my build. Yeah. I got a couple more legendaries. I got 2 more legendaries since the last time we played.
It's not bad. I think that was the last.
Because when we played, you got 2 legendaries and I got 1 legendary.
Yeah.
So I got 1 more legendary after that.
Oh, okay.
By myself.
Okay.
So we are getting legendaries at least, right? At least we're getting some better, legendaries and more armor and weapons. But it's not. It's a legendary. Has a cool ability. Has terrible stats. It's max health. It has no firepower. Has no anomaly. That's not what I need.
Right. It's not gonna make or break your build.
Yeah. So I try to put it on, but it doesn't have enough damage. I need damage.
It's in the attributes more than anything. Right?
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Right. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna put it away for now. Wait till something else gets better. So that's what I've been doing. I just mostly been playing expeditions on CT9 if I can, because sometimes I'll do really good for 1 or 2 runs, and then really terribly on the 3rd or 4th run. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of weird. Again, but I'm just been slowly trying to like understand the game as much as I can. But still, sometimes it's just frustrating. But I don't think the damage mitigation issue is really affecting me, at least when I've been playing expeditions with you and by myself. But it's just learning how to is knowing when to be aggressive and also when to back off.
When to reserving.
Right, exactly. Because dang, sometimes if you're just like walking straight into the open, all the regular basic ass riflemen like suddenly just pounce on you. You kind of have to learn how to use corners and know where you're coming from.
Yeah, man. The riflemen, it does seem like they have nerfed them though, right? They're not at the same level they were at before, right?
Well, the snipers got nerfed. The riflemen, I don't know. I still feel like I get killed by random riflemen all the time. Right. But I've been learning better to like not put myself in a position where they could kill me. Like if there's a lot of them at me, I'll try to come through the corner or try to
flank them a little bit.
If they're too far away, then I'll try to pop a couple of them before I keep going forward.
Gotcha.
So that way you can lessen that damage.
Yeah.
Which again kind of goes back to that meme that you gave me last time when you made the show of like that you're just playing terribly.
Yeah.
Granted, I feel like I'm playing terribly. I was playing terribly.
Yeah.
I'm getting to the point where I'm getting better at the game. Yeah. But the armor's not there. I still need armor that really complements my build, and it's better. I went with the full
legendary.
No, not legendary. Sorry, firepower build.
Oh, okay.
So I went full gun damage, right?
Yeah.
So I have that build has been working amazingly. The Ash build with gunfire damage.
Yeah.
Great build. I've been doing great damage, but again, it's not perfect. It's whatever I have. I'm making a build out of whatever I have, right? Once I can get better pieces of armor that complement that build, that's when I feel like I'll be able to start hitting CT 10, 11, 12. Start be able to push into that realm.
And 10 is still like you're still running into like damage issues, or is it?
No, it's just really hard. Issues? It's lifespan, and then you're not doing enough damage. And again, you need to start perfecting Hopefully, I can get more pieces that lets me perfect my build, because again, I have boots that give me anomaly power, and I don't need it. But I haven't found any boots that give me a good mod for my gunfire damage, right? Like there's like small things like that, and I think
firepower.
Exactly. Sorry, for firepower, and it's those small things that if you want to be able to hit that, I think if you want to hit past CT10 and above, we need those. We need to start cutting out the fat and get the actual build going.
Yeah. Polish the build as much as possible.
Exactly.
The attributes, paying attention to the attributes was a little game changer.
Max health is terrible.
I do use it.
Mm-hmm.
I do use it on some pieces, but I try to have balance in the pieces and then have them lean towards the attributes that's in the gear.
Right.
You know what I mean? That I want in the build. But it's kind of hard because you can't really do anything to affect those.
If you go too hard to survivability, you're hampering your ability to kill fast enough
to attack.
Because again, it's like what's the best defense is just a great offense.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if you kill faster, then you'll heal more as you're killing. Things like that.
Yeah.
Because at some point, even let's say that there should be build diversity. Mm-hmm. If you build a tanky build, it doesn't help you because again, this is time based.
You're replenishing too slow too.
Exactly, and it's time based. So you're just wasting more seconds because you could be killing faster, but you made a tank build, to outlast it.
To outlast things, which is great for bosses and things like that.
Right.
But probably not for the time trials or for the expeditions.
But anyways, we've been dealing with that. Again, I don't feel like we've been too affected by the damage mitigation issues, but they are addressing it. And not too long ago, on May 19th, they released some additional news. Do you want to take that off, Rob?
Sure. We've just shared some fun some fun stats about Outriders via our social media channels. Including the fact that we surpassed 3.5 million unique players in our first month after launch. Launching an early new game IP is never easy, and we remain very grateful for all of your support and feedback. We are still here, are still continuing to listen carefully, and want to assure you all Take that again. And want to assure you all that we are committed to improving and enhancing your experience throughout the coming weeks and months. We're also looking forward to expanding Outriders in the future.
That's pretty cool, right? That first month, 3.5 million players. That's a good game. That's a good game to go out, especially if it's a new IP. Again, like they mentioned, sometimes getting new games off the floor is really hard sometimes, and you don't even know if they'll catch on or not.
There's been years where new IPs don't hit.
Exactly.
There's been we've gone a year or two where it's all sequels and remakes and stuff like that. So it is cool that there's a new IP that we might be getting expansions, because that's what the last sentence here says, and it's followed by an ominous ... So that's good,
right? We know that Outriders is here to stay, and that we'll be looking, because again, maybe a lot of these issues we're having will get addressed in the next expansion or the next game, what have you. Maybe they'll add more modes. What if not only you have expeditions, you have horde modes, you have other things that will reward you.
Exactly. That's kind of the way I'm reading, where it's like the word expanding. You don't say expanding unless you're talking about expansions. You know what I'm saying? That's the it's definitely there to be like, hey, we're not just looking to fix this game, we're looking to make it bigger.
Yeah, so which I love,
Yeah, that's cool.
It's different from Avengers, where we knew that they had a roadmap. It's just that they haven't really been hitting it. But we are getting those DLCs for Avenger. We are getting those new characters, things like that. But we already knew going into Avengers that they were going to provide all that for free, and this was the map of what's going to come out.
Right.
Outriders that wasn't the case. It was a brand new IP. If it did good, sure, we'll get more. If it did terribly, then they move on.
I think Avengers didn't even give themselves a window for the bug fixes or anything like that. They were like, this is our path, everything's going to go off without it.
And they really got off that path. Of course, COVID really affected a lot of things. They really got off schedule. Spider-Man was supposed to already been released. They're not even working on him because they're still trying to fix the game. Things like that. But again, it looks like they're going down the right path. At least the way that they've updated the roadmap for at least Marvel's Avengers. Again, it looks like they're doing cool things and they're actually getting there. Hopefully, that Red Room event that everyone's been talking about. It's brand new. It's single player. You unlock an animated nameplate. Yeah. Kind of sucks you still have to buy some of the skins, but again, they're out to make money.
Yeah, that's the first priority. All right, but over here it says our latest patch, designed primarily to address the damage mitigation issue, is currently running through some final testing. As mentioned yesterday, we're hoping to release it this Thursday, May 20th, but that will not only be confirmed once it's successfully... but that will only be confirmed once it's successfully passed through testing. The patch will additionally include crash fixes as well as added telemetry to help us diagnose currently outstanding sign-in issues that remain after this patch release. We're also still working on the player appreciation package, which is great.
Right, and that was the news that they had updated on the 19th. But go ahead, Rob, I'm going to go ahead and show it on the screen right now. These are some of the social media images they've been posting on their Twitter account, some of the things that has come out of, all the numbers and stats behind the Outriders.
Okay, so this first one right off the bat, 1.6 quadrillion with a Q and a U and a drillion total damage. And in parentheses, seriously.
Right? 1.6 quadrillion damage. That's so cool. Especially because we do damage in the millions. So imagine.
Yeah.
And they have all those numbers on their back end.
Quadrillion. Yeah, that's insane, man. I wonder how much of that is like us. All right. Most hours invested by one player.
One player.
One guy. And I'm assuming it's this guy over here in the middle. Most hours invested by one player, 797 hours.
That's insane. I don't think it's the same guy. Sometimes the same account will be handled by a streaming house. Well, one person's going to get on and they hand it off. I don't know. Maybe it could be all one guy who's super into Outriders. I can't imagine playing Outriders this much with not little content, but just that eventually once you hit CT15, did he do all 4 characters?
How does that break down?
Right, but I would like to know what he did. If it is one guy, if there are multiple people on the same account, that'd be cool to see.
That's a lot. 1.9 trillion scrap collected. 457 billion titanium pieces collected.
That's cool.
The most popular legendary weapons: the Death Shield and the Funeral Pyre.
I have not gotten either of those two. Do you have Death Shield?
Funeral Pyre.
Oh, you do have Funeral Pyre.
Funeral Pyre. I want to say it was a gun, an assault rifle, right?
Okay.
It might be, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, it's an assault rifle that has like a drapery on it.
Oh,
it might be full of shit though.
Or it could be a double gun or an LMG.
You know, I'm gonna withhold my theory on that because I don't remember, but I know I had Funeral Pyre. I remember reading it.
I haven't gotten either of those two yet.
Okay. Total kills, we're at 20 billion.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Fuck these guys. 9.2 billion Perforo kills. Forever in our hearts.
It feels like Perforos. We just mow through Perforos all the time. And I wonder if that counts even the Alpha Perforos and the Acid ones.
I wonder if it does, right?
Yeah.
That like if they fit under that category.
I'm pretty sure they do. Because, I mean, they're all Perforos at the end of the day. Because the Broodmother is also Perforo. Just a big version. It's just the boss version.
Just the Broodmother.
Yeah.
All right. Most used ability per class. For the Devastator, we have the Gravity Jump. For the Pyromancer, Ash Blast. That's great. Technomancer, Cryo Turret. And for the Trickster, Slow Trap.
How do you feel about that?
I could see how, because it's extremely useful right off the bat. But I stopped using my slow trap around the end game, around the last boss. Yeah, I stopped using the slow trap because it wasn't dishing out damage. You know what I mean?
Right. It wasn't helping us in CTs either. I mean, sometimes we could use it to control the enemies, but we just need damage.
That's true. I mean, in some of those harder missions, maybe we could implement it. Yeah. To like some of the ones where we're getting our asses handed to them.
Like get them in like a pathway and just put a slow trap in and just mow them down. Put a slow
trap. Yeah, and if you're in the slow trap too, and just mow them down, like if you're on the back end of a slow trap and let them coming into the slow trap, right, and just mow them, and have your back up against a wall to make sure nobody can creep up on you from the back. Right, it's gonna be perfect.
I'm surprised that Ash Blast for Pyromancers is the most used ability. One, because I never use that ability. Yeah, I thought the Heat Wave would be the most used ability, the Firewall. Yeah, that's surprising me. I didn't know people were using Ash Blast so much.
The Ash Blast is that weird energy blast that you shoot out, right?
No. That's Ash Blast is when I release like a little black spot around me and it just freezes everyone near me, or it just makes everyone into ash. And because ash for a pyromancer is like ice, like ice. Exactly, it freezes them.
Or the slow time.
Yeah. Again, and I didn't really use it, but I mean, Gravity Jump come out for the Devastator. That's like the go-to move everyone wants to use for Devastator.
That's what I was using when I was playing a Devastator.
And for Technomancers to be a Cryo Turret, I mean that makes sense. Yeah. When you play a Technomancer and you use that turret, that's your first ability. Yeah. I'm like, I'll never stop using this ability. It's so good. Yeah.
They don't have the Technomancer doesn't have the equivalent to like a bullet effect, like the way the
they have decay bullets.
Decay bullets.
Yeah. Okay. So they're like poison. So once you shoot them with the decay bullet, they slowly start losing their health.
And that's a skill that you put into your skills. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Which I'm like, I might take a break from doing CT runs and start leveling up some other characters just to like
give them time.
Because I want to level up my Technomancer to start getting them to that higher level, so we can start using them for CTs. But I still wanna get my Pyromancer to CT 15. I feel like if we had a couple weekends to start knocking it out as much as we could. I
think so.
I think so. We can definitely hit it. We're knocking on there.
We haven't been hitting it as hard as we were before.
Right. Exactly.
So I think that might have something to do with it too.
Part of it again is that discouragement of like we're doing this and we die and like kind of sucks. Like it is discouraging because you don't really get much out of it. Like I don't know. I feel like when you play other games like Destiny, The Division, when you're dying, you get left off on the checkpoint that you were before. Yeah, you don't have to start. You don't have to start all the way back. Like I wouldn't mind if they give you the checkpoint, but you lost time. So you're not gonna get a time back. You're still gonna finish the run, but not resort you all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah. That would be nice if you like at least per room. You know how there's like the separate
Exactly.
Separate
Give a checkpoint as soon as you finish the first room. If you die in the second room, you go back to that checkpoint. You have to redo the second room.
Yeah. No, that would make more sense, man. That's the reason sometimes why I tune out.
Right. But again, when we play together, that's always great until we start hitting that wall again, and then we have to spend resources to level up our gear, find better gear, things like that. And
or just go through the old shit. Just go through the old shit. And I got to the point where I'm not even collecting the gear. I'm just aiming at it on the floor and dismantling it.
Right.
Just dismantling it right there on the floor.
Yeah, because blues don't really serve that much of a purpose.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
I remember when they were exciting.
And I told you I unlocked CT10 earlier in this podcast, right?
Yeah.
You need titanium and drop pod resources to level up gear.
Ooh.
So now you need double the resources. And I'm already out of titanium. Because you need a lot of titanium once you're hitting level 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 50 for the gear that you have.
Yeah. And I don't feel like they're giving it to you.
I know, like, you have to keep running. I think the most efficient way to play the game right now is do the CT level that you can do it the quickest and the easiest. Get a lot of titanium, get a lot of gear, and then keep going.
And then go for the legendary.
Exactly.
Stuff. So build up all your resources. And then hit the legendary.
Exactly.
To go for the legendary weapons.
Exactly. Because I know for like Diablo, like they'll tell you like don't go for the highest difficulty. Go for the difficulty where you can do it the fastest. Because eventually you'll get enough good gear that makes the next level easier to do. And then you just rinse and repeat it.
Yeah, and you work on the next level.
Exactly. As soon as you and once that level feels good where you can constantly do it, then you move on to the next one.
Yeah, that makes more sense. And to just try to blitz them all the way we're kind
of... Again, and that's why I like to do as well, but eventually you'll hit a wall. And that's the problem is that once you hit that wall, are you going to divest the time and, the time to keep running that same CT9, CT8, level?
All the while refining your build.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But again, I'm glad I've been getting legendaries. I'm glad for that. I just haven't got anything useful yet, which, again, still sucks, but I'm glad that we're getting stuff, though.
Yeah.
We finally hit a CT level where we're starting to see legendaries.
Receiving the legendaries.
Exactly. Because I'm waiting to have an entire legendary build and have stuff that I need that will help my build.
Yeah, and then when you get the parts, the multiple armor pieces per build, you get those extra perks and those multipliers and stuff like that. And that's what we need to get through these walls that we've been hitting.
Right, because eventually we're going to replace all our purples with legendary equipment, and then those legendary equipment are going to have their set bonuses. Remember, like once you have three of one kind, you'll get that set bonus, and then that other piece is just an extra.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's I can't wait for that. So we're looking at the right now we're putting up the slide of most I guess it's the percentages of players playing each class.
Yeah.
So we have Trickster at 27.9.
Pretty crazy. That's pretty cool.
Pretty crazy, man. That's gonna be my crew right there, man.
You're the popular class.
We'll call ourselves the basic bitches. No, just kidding. Then Pyromancer, we're at a 26.3%. We have Technomancer at 23.9 and Devastator at 21.9. That's surprising, man.
Right?
That's very surprising.
I expected the Technomancer to be the last one. That's what I had thought.
I thought so too.
This is what I thought. I thought Trickster, Devastator, Pyromancer, and Technomancer. That's what I thought was going to be the amount of people playing those classes.
I thought it was going to be Pyromancer or Devastator.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I thought it was going to be either of those two because they seem like the more like the Devastator seems more straightforward to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is it's also kind of saying something that the wackier build or the wackier classes.
Yeah.
They're all kind of wacky.
They're all wacky. Yeah.
But I think the Devastator's kind of like you've seen it in other games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
he's the run and gun. Get in there.
Yeah. So you haven't really seen that like. Yeah, the Pyromancer you have, but the Pyromancer is very unique in this game. But that's surprising, that last one.
But it's funny that you and me are like the top classes that are in the game.
Right? We're influencing them, bro. I'm just kidding. All right, so we're looking at total hours played, 120 million hours.
Now imagine
Jesus, what year is that?
Right? Like how many years ahead have we jumped to?
God. We're looking at over 3.5 million players in 1 month. We already went through that, but here's the slide. Jeez. That's some good bragging right there, man.
Right.
That's some nice stats. It's fun that they release that. Yeah,
I always love it when they release stats like that. It just shows you how crazy people have gone to Outriders. I don't think Outriders is no longer in the zeitgeist anymore. Yeah. It has fallen off. People who played had a good time, and
they've moved on to the next.
And then the people who are still playing like us, we're like still finding a way
what the fuck?
Yeah. But again, we've seen that with Avengers. We've seen that with so many games.
With so many games. They get into this sophomore slump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like with Avengers, it's not a problem of Outriders. At least it's fun to play and it's challenging. I really feel that. And it just sucks too when you
hit these walls.
When you hit these walls and you don't get rewarded for that challenge, or because you fucked up and you lost the entire time, right?
Or you drop 40 minutes and then you die at the very end. I literally died from a 1 perforo at the very end.
Right.
And it sent me all the way back to the beginning. And it was aggravating, and I stopped playing.
Right. And again, like, I love that though, because it makes you want to play more, do better.
Yeah.
What you can say about Outriders is it's not boring. Avengers is the other way, where it's just boring because the stuff that you're doing, there's no reason for doing it.
Yeah.
Like once you get an Avengers to 150, what is there left to do? Nothing really. So then we'll take a break.
Yeah. All right. So then on May 20th, we got the news, we got word from them saying, during our final test of today's planned patch, we uncovered an issue that could pose a risk to the stability of the overall patch. As we are not comfortable releasing the patch with this issue in place, we need to take a couple of days to address it. This current patch is therefore now rescheduled to be released early next week, pending final confirmation that the above-mentioned issue has been resolved. We know that this isn't what you wanted to hear today, but we do want to assure you that this short delay won't impact the other fixes that we are already prepping for the next patch cycle. And we will share more news of these as soon as we can. So that's an interesting...
yeah. So by the time you listen to this podcast, that patch should have been released.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they're holding the patch back. Because again, we don't want to fuck up the game even more.
Right.
Let's make sure we get this right. Otherwise, we're just going to piss off the entire community.
Exactly. Let's not go backwards.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So be patient. And I'm hoping that the general... At least for me, the reaction to that is okay, like, thanks for letting me know. No, yeah. You know what I mean? Thanks for letting me know. See you next week.
No, a lot of people have been praising the reactions. Say, hey, yeah, take your time. We want to make sure that the game is good. But we're in that negative cycle that always happens to these type of games. I know ours is not games as a service, but it pretty much feels like one, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it feels like a game where it has these elements. But The Division has this, Destiny has this. There's a lot of negativity in the community because, again, people want this game to be in a specific way, and they want constant updates, constant pushing of new content, because that's what the industry is at this point. Yeah. Apex gives you so much content. Overwatch gives you a lot of content. Fortnite being the leader of that, they give you constant stuff to be chasing every single week. But they're the big dogs. They're getting billions of dollars from players paying up, so they're hiring hundreds and hundreds of artists, programmers, and things like that, so that Fortnite can always have something fresh every week. Iris is a brand new IP. It is not going to have that, but it's nice that they're building on it.
That's true, and I like that they're alluding to as soon as after all these fixes are done, there's more. You know,
exactly.
Like we're going to get more game,
and
after
again,
this stuff is done. So it's that's cool.
And I love that People Can Fly made this IP. It's their own. It's not Gears. It's not something else that was not holding them down. Like Bulletstorm was great, but that wasn't their standout. This is now their standout.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah, I mean, it's that patience hopefully pays off. Hopefully we don't have another situation like Avengers, or even the other one that just got Anthem.
Yeah.
That just got...
Can you believe some people started comparing this to Anthem? Like, is Outriders in there? Anthem? Like, no, shut the fuck up. You don't have no idea what Anthem was.
If that's what people are putting up, though, just to get you to click on their...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to get you to click on their editorials, or get you to click on their...
comments, whatever.
Yeah. It sounds a little clickbaity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is it another this, or is it a this killer, or a that killer? You know what I'm saying? It's like, why can't it just be what it is without having to be another one of those or another one of that killer? Just let it be what it is. You know
what Outriders is? It's a success. At the end of the day, it's a fucking success. It has a player. It has a community. It started something new, something that wasn't kind of what some people say. Like, it's not from a book. It's not from a previous thing that was made before.
It's a game.
It's a brand new game with brand new worlds, brand new characters, and brand new enemies. That takes a lot of time to make and build a world out of nothing.
Yeah.
And again, once you get to all these Assassin's Creeds, they've had 10, 15 Assassin's Creed since the first one. They're building on a formula that's already established, right?
It's already tried.
Outriders is a formula. Like, you can see the Mass Effect in it. You can see the Gears in it, things like that, right? It doesn't come just out of
Destiny.
nowhere, but they made their own version of what they wanted to do.
Yeah. I always felt like the second we played it, because I didn't know much before I started playing the demo, but when we played it, I always felt like it was that. It was just parts of all these different games.
Right.
That that it was, it was pulling from different games all at once, but it was a brand new thing,
right?
Using the mechanics that we're familiar with, but all in one place.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I thought that's a novel approach to that.
In which there's nothing wrong with that, because that actually makes a lot of games stand out better, and maybe it also saves you time and money in development, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Take for example Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War. That game is Assassin's Creed mixed with Batman, but guess what? In the Lord of the Rings world. So they not only did they do their Lord of the Rings portion of that game of making the characters Lord of the Rings, doing the nemesis, and that is unique to that game. But when you play it, like, oh, this plays like Batman. It plays like Assassin's Creed, which is not bad. That's what you want, especially for a huge world like Middle Earth, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that game was like the climbing was real sharp and real responsive, if I remember right. I didn't play it. I haven't played it since it first came out. I've never played the sequel. Did you get through that?
I didn't play the sequel either. No. It's on Game Pass.
It is on Game Pass. They just pulled The Witcher off Game Pass, and I was gonna
I bought it.
Yeah,
I bought the Game of the Year version, so I have all the DLC.
I already bought the DLC.
When am I gonna get to it?
Yeah, right?
That's another question, because we'll talk about more during Shoot the Captain, but yeah. But either way, I'm glad that they were able to do this. I'm glad that they put out this information saying, you know what, patches isn't where we need it to be. Let's make sure that when we release the patch, it's not going to break everything, and they're able to communicate that. And again, Outriders is still pretty young. It's been about almost a month and a half now, right? Yeah. Or almost 2 months now.
It's a baby.
Yeah, exactly. So take all the time. I'm so excited to see what happens in the future. And talking about that, Square-Enix, which is the parent company of Outriders, also people who make Final Fantasy, people who made Marvel's Avengers and the Tomb Raider series, they did release recently some new news about what the future of Outriders can look like. I have an article here if you want to read it from pushsquare.com by Liam Croft. Square-Enix is pitching Outrider as the next big franchise, as the publisher reveals that more than 3.5 million unique players gave the looter shooter a go during its first month on the market. While the statistic doesn't reflect sales, there seems to be enough confidence in the IP and developer people can fly going forwards that the company feels safe in promising that Outriders will be expanded upon in the future. In a press release, John Brook, co-head of studio at Square Enix Internal Studio, said, "Launching a new game IP is never easy, and we remain very grateful for the community's support and feedback. We continue to listen carefully, and we want to assure everyone that we are committed to improving and enhancing the experience in the coming weeks and months. We also look forward to expanding on Outriders in the future." Average playtime is set to be around 30 hours within its user base, and engagement with cooperative play is very high, which again, that makes sense. I mean, me, you, and your brother, we've been playing pretty much non-stop co-op. I've played more co-op in this game than I have solo, which is great. Yeah. Again, it's a game that we can all join and
it's
jump in there.
that way.
Right.
Yeah.
We have assumed Xbox Game Pass played a huge part in boosting Outriders player numbers since the game came out to the service in the same day it launched. A move we thought would crater sales on PS5 and PS4. Square Enix definitely seems happy enough with the number of copies it has sold. However, news on Outriders front has been fairly quiet since its worst bugs and glitches were fixed. So maybe new content will be revealed next month at E3 2021 is just around the corner after all. And so that's a cool article. It's just from us saying that, you know what, Outriders did well. It's sold enough. It has a great player base. Square Enix seems like, you know what, we have something here. Let's build on it.
Yeah, that's promising. I mean, when the people behind it, the people that bankrolled it, essentially, right?
Yeah, definitely. They're the publishers, so they bankrolled it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're like, okay, we got something here.
Exactly. Which, again, great for Outriders, great for People Can Fly.
Great for us.
Great for us. Hopefully this will let them hire more developers, hire more artists, so we can get more content going for Outriders.
Yeah.
Now, what I wanted to ask you is, the game, it's pretty much almost games as a service, right? But they never wanted to commit to that promise, because otherwise you get yourself in an Avengers situation where they're behind deadlines. They missed, certain deadlines to release content by this date, things like that, right? But on Borderlands, Borderlands stands on its own with expansions and DLC. Do you want expansions and DLC where there'll be a lull, but every couple months you'll have something new? Or do you want it more as games as a service like Destiny, where every 2 or every 2 or 1 month, there's something to be doing and looking forward to, and then you use that to to go to the next month. So every time you're logging in, there's always something new to do. Would you rather have that, but less impactful? Or like, let's say we unlock CT20, go do it with a fire modifier at ×2 or something, right?
Yeah.
Where it doesn't change the gameplay that much, but it adds these fun little elements.
But they're events that happen.
Better events. Or do you want to wait for longer periods and just have new locations, new pieces of armor, things like that?
That's a good question. I haven't thought about it. I haven't thought about that, but I can start by saying that the way they are engaging with the player base seems like it's going to be the type of thing that's going to be pretty frequent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as what I would want, I don't know, to be honest. I think that having something month to month would be ideal.
Okay.
But if every year or every 6 months they drop something big,
right?
You know what I mean? Like if it was like I think Destiny did that, where it's like kind of like every year or so it's like a big deal.
They did do something like that, and now they took they have a medium sized drop every year, but every season there's shit to do, or there's like a specific small story. So they ended up just chopping things up, but you have a constant stream of. Every month you have something to do. That's
tough, man. You know, I don't think I've been on top of a game that's like that.
Right, exactly.
So if that happened with this game, that would be a new experience for me.
Right. Because I know again, you know me, I've been playing Destiny for a long time. I've been playing it for 6 years. I came back recently for the big drop.
Yeah.
Played for a couple months, and now it's back to not the lull. Like there's stuff to do if I wanted to go back to that game. There's plenty of stuff to do, but I'm on the Outriders chain. Like I kind of want to give this game a shot, let it shine, and be there from the ground up, because I always like being there when a new series is out. Like I was there for Destiny for the beta, and I've been playing Destiny for 6 years now.
Jeez.
Does Outriders have that same juice? Are we going to be playing 6 or 7 years from now Outriders? Things like that.
And if so, how unrecognizable or recognizable is
the game becomes, or what do they improve upon? What do they could still use work? Because
what's
Destiny,
still there from now and what's changed? Yeah,
like Destiny has changed so much and grown so much, and it's great some of the things that they've done, because a lot of big complaint was, why are we doing this? What's the story? And now they're known for their story now, because every month, every week, you'll get a special cinematic or a line that hints to something greater. And then you get your fucking end game moment where here's the expansion. All those months of you doing this led up to this big moment.
Oh, okay.
And then everyone jumps in, and then the next big moment.
You get a spike in player base,
exactly,
and then that funds the next event.
And again, I want to see that. How does Outriders look like from 2 years from now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do we have a new class? What are the new enemies?
That would be great.
You know what I'm saying?
Class or two would be awesome.
I mean, it could break the balance, but I don't see why not, right? You could have new classes in this game, or give us another skill tree for even the classes we have now. Give us a force tree. Things like that. Yeah. Let us experiment and build more. Give us more skill points. Imagine if you had enough skill points to go through one entire tree and then half of another one.
Yeah.
Things like that.
And branch off into other other pieces of
which again,
the other ones.
It's elements from Division, Borderlands, things like that. That exists in other games. And you can always go down those paths and see what they've done, improve on it, or put your spin on it,
Yeah.
But either way, I'm excited for the future of Outriders. I hope it doesn't. I think games as a service is hard to do. I don't think everyone does it well. I would rather have people make big expansions where people come back that year, and get back into Outriders, right?
Yeah.
And have these big moments rather than try to string you along for every month. Because I feel like that weakens the product more.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
They did with Avengers.
I mean, they're getting there. I feel like Avengers is getting a little bit better.
Yeah.
We have new story missions, and we have the Red Room event. They had the Tachyon event a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. It's just there's just not enough of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think once people come back for
are these events still live? Can you go back and play them?
No, Tachyon event's already over. So
really?
So if you weren't there, you missed the nameplate. That's why I didn't care about the Tachyon event. I want to get the nameplate for the Red Room event.
Okay.
So I want to get that for sure. But again, see, that's the thing, is if it's games as a service, if you miss out, you missed out. Do you want that in Outriders, or do you want to be able to still have access to that content like Borderlands? Borderlands does that thing. They'll have a Halloween event that you can play in the game, even if it's not Halloween. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. because they'll put it back into the game or for you to replay again.
Okay. Yeah, that's rough, man. I don't know. I don't have a straight answer for you on that.
Again, for me, I don't want that because again, if you miss a month, you miss a week, you miss an event, you feel like you missed out. You missed out on something, and I hate that feeling of FOMO, right? And, and Destiny does it all the time. Like right now, I'm missing some great parts in Destiny right now because I'm still keeping up with the news, watching my favorite YouTubers like Dado on Destiny and things like that. I still keep up with that community and keep up with the subreddit and some of the stuff that they're showing in the game. Like man,
it looks fun.
I wish I was playing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of thing. But I don't have enough time for two type of games like this, right?
I see.
I'd rather have Outriders as my main focus. Avengers every once in a while, and then whatever third game I'm playing, which is right now is Final Fantasy 15. Yeah.
Weren't you playing 14 not too long ago?
Well, me and Brenda still play 14. Like we play every other weekend. Like we make a whole day out of it and just play for hours.
That's cool.
And we're just still going through all. We haven't even caught up to where the game is at right now. We're still playing content from 2017.
Jeez,
because there's so much of it. It's been over years that they've made
and
this
it
much
holds up
content.
Pretty well. Like
oh yeah, definitely. Like you can see it visually getting better because
I see.
You know
as you progress, through the game, they've added so much.
They've added so much, and they changed a lot of things. Okay. Some people have different voices completely because they changed voice actors.
Wow.
But since we played it so recently, it feels jarring a little bit. But then we can eventually get over it.
Okay, so there's not like they haven't made a remastered version of that one?
No, they haven't made a remaster of that game. But again, they've just been building on the base game. Then they had 3 expansions so far. So that you had the main game that took you from level 1 to 50, and that took months for me and Brenda to get through, right? 1 to 50. Then it was like first expansion 50 to 60, second expansion 70 to 80, things like that.
Yeah.
Me and Brenda, we just finished hitting the 60 marker, so we did the first expansion called Heaven's Ward, which is dealing with this whole other nation and bringing those people into the fold of the main story.
Okay.
And again, Final Fantasy is like anime. It sets these threads up really, really early on to pay off way later.
Yeah.
And it feels great because you feel really invested in these characters' stories and how you get involved in their story as well as a player in the game.
But you have to commit. Like if
you don't
commit, you're not going to get that payoff.
Exactly. Like
long game.
It's a long game because this game takes you sometimes months to play. I mean, granted, me and my girlfriend, we don't play every day like some people do. We play like every once a weekend and for a couple hours. Like I remember playing like WoW for hundreds of hours every day. Well, not every day. Playing for hundreds of hours every month to get to those levels or to get to those end game story moments, right?
Yeah.
And then get caught up with it. If I had to put my mind to it,
it's a lot of WoW.
Right? If I put my mind to it, I could get to the end game of Final Fantasy. At least get to the point where they're at in the story now. If I played for like 2 months straight and just play that, I could get there.
That's a lot of content.
Right.
That's a lot of content.
But again, me and my girlfriend, we've just been enjoying it as we've been slowly, playing through the content. She's a summoner. She's an attacking class. Yeah. I'm a tank. You'll do dungeons with other people. Every dungeon has 4 characters. You'll have a tank, a healer, and 2 damage persons. People. 2 damage persons. 2 damage dealers. And again, being a tank, I played tank in other games.
Yeah.
So a tank, your main role is to keep the boss on you. So that way the healer can do their job and the 2 attackers can kill the boss.
How do you guys have the setup to play? Like what's your configuration when it went to? Is she playing on the PC and you're playing on the Xbox?
I'm playing on the PC and she's playing on the PS4. And so she's playing on the big screen and I'm playing on the computer.
Nice.
Because for me, I have more control on the computer. Because again, that type of game you're used to play on the computer, but that they wait. But they designed that game to be on console as well, so you can play with a controller and be perfectly fine.
Okay.
So you can play both ways.
Man, that sounds fun.
Right? Yeah. And again, she's a level 60 summoner. I'm a level 60 warrior. And your character can be any class using the same guy. So you can master every single class in the game if you wanted to on the same person.
So each character can actually... So the characters are pre-made. You don't make the character.
No, you make your character too.
Okay.
So like not only do you choose your race, your gender, and also what attributes, like what physical attributes you want, that character can then be any class they want. They just start... Let's say if you're a level 60 warrior, you want to start off your warrior as a level 1 mage, you can. You just have to go back and level it up all the way.
Really?
Yeah. So
That's
imagine
cool.
if your trickster go back and be a pyromancer and then start leveling that up instead of making another character and make that a pyromancer.
So if I was a level 30 pyromancer and then I was like, you know what, I want some fire shit.
Yeah.
I went back, I would go be a
level 1 pyromancer, but with the same character.
With the same character.
And
but
you
then if
still
I
have
went
all
back
shit.
to be a trickster, I would go back to being level 30.
Exactly.
And retain that class.
And we still retain everything. Or even share resources among that.
So within each... So do you guys plan on going back and mastering a second class?
I do. I usually play on my own. I'll level up my other classes. My girlfriend, no, she's just sticking with Summoner and going one and done. I'm a level 43 Scholar, which is a healer. They heal using like tarot cards, things like that.
Okay.
I have a level 20-something Ninja, which again, it's like the Ninja class, it's cool. They only have 3 abilities, but depending on how you use those 3 abilities, it does a different attack. Okay. So if you go yellow, blue, red, it's this attack. Blue, blue, red, yellow, different attack. Okay. And each attack has their purpose for the scenario. Like one attack is for straight one person damage, or straight one enemy damage, does the most damage, or one attack does area damage to everything. Radial damage to all the enemies that are in the area. Does weaker damage, but it hits everyone. Because that's kind of what you want. When you're surrounded... hit everyone when it's one person do the damage that does the most damage to that one target. And
it's not turn-based, is it?
It's not turn-based. Everything is exactly. It's an action RPG, and so you're playing with several other people, and you're running dungeons in 4-man groups. There's raids up to 8 to 10 players.
I gotta try it, man. That sounds a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. Really hard to get into, kind of like Monster Hunter a little bit, where you have to learn how to play this game because it doesn't play like other games. Like if you never played WoW or those type of games, it's very up that alley. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it's really fun and rewarding once you get to those locations, because in WoW, I care about WoW's story, but Final Fantasy XIV is story based. Like they made it out to be story first, everything else secondary. Yeah. And that's what keeps me coming back, or it keeps us coming back.
You get engaged and you want to come back and...
Right.
Yeah.
Well, either way, I'm excited to see what Square-Enix does with Outriders now, because again, it's under their wheelhouse. They know how to make these type of games. They know how to make these long-lasting games. Hopefully, they'll. Again, I see the peaks and valleys of Marvel's Avengers. Yeah. I'm seeing it can be great, and I think they're slowly starting to build to it. I'm gonna be really excited what they do with Battle for Wakanda, and we'll see how that goes. Right. Mm-hmm. I can definitely see that for Outriders as well, where they're building expansions and building this universe to be bigger and more inclusive, to have more players playing at the same time.
Do you think that we're going to see a difference in the delivery of content with Avengers now that the shutdowns are starting to kind of open up again?
Right, exactly. People are going to start returning back to the office. Yeah. I feel like they're going to have to redo their roadmap, and maybe we'll get more continuous content. Because again, by now we should have already had Spider-Man, Ant-Man. Like there should have been a lot of characters that they had not promised, but they had hopefully anticipated we would get to this point by now. Yeah. But again, COVID, everything that slowed everything down. The reception to Avengers, I'm pretty sure they didn't plan for any of that. Yeah. But either way, I'm still excited for what's to come. And I'm equally excited to see what's to come for Outriders. I'm more excited about Outriders to see where that goes.
Yeah, that looks like it can go anywhere from here.
Either way, let us know what you think Outriders can go from now. What is it that you would want to see? Would you want Outriders to be more of a games as a service, or do you want kind of like the Borderlands method? Do you want expansion packs? Do you want season passes? Do you want big content drops, just more spread out throughout the year? Again, let us know in the comments below. Thank you for joining us for episode 6, and we hope to hear from you soon. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and follow us on Instagram, ShootNLoot Outriders, Twitter @ShootNLootOP, and on TikTok, ShootNLoot Outriders, to be notified of new episodes. Now, go fuck shit up, Outriders.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.